So, hello everybody. I'm Pia Qvintus and I have been working for last 4 years with Finpro, first Finpro and then Business Finland, and my job has been to help the Finnish SMEs in the field of bioeconomy to international growth. And here in my presentation, I'm trying to give you an overview what kind of companies we have in the field of circular economy here in Finland, and especially in bioeconomy field. Our National Innovation Fund, Sitra, has shared business models of circular economy in 5 main business models. Product life extension, product as a service, sharing platform, renewability, resource efficiency and recycling. And those bioeconomy companies that I'm talking about, they are mainly in those 2 last classes, renewability and resource efficiency. But I will first show you a few slides which are taken from the Sitra's web pages, where you can see what kind of companies are in those 3 first ones. First, here in Sitra's web pages, you can find more than 100 most interesting companies in circular economy, which has been selected by Sitra and other experts in the area. And you can even choose the size of the enterprise, and I have used small and medium-sized enterprises as the second classifier of the company besides the business model. And as you can see, the companies vary a lot. There are very, very different companies. For instance, as product as a service, you can find loading pallets as a service, renting of loading pallets as a service, smart green wall and healthy indoor air as a service, even car sharing vehicles available nearby in 5 minutes, etc. Very many different types of companies, but with the same business model. The second business model is the product life extension, and it is the very similar situation inside this business model. There are companies which are reselling second-hand products, which secure efficient reuse of office furniture, even laser coating that extends the service life of industrial equipment components. These are just examples. You can find several more company examples from Sitra's pages if you are interested in checking these. And then the next business model, sharing platforms. Here you can find online auction for public sector properties, equipment sharing platform for companies, marketplace for renting conference or meeting venues, and etc. But I will be focusing to bioeconomy area and companies from the renewability and resource efficiency and recycling business model. In Business Finland, we have a program called BioCircular Finland. It was started in the beginning of this year, and it is the volume of the program is around 150 million euros for innovation funding and supporting of export of Finnish companies. We have shared the program to 4 different themes. First, plastics, and especially replacement of plastic with bio-based solutions and development of recycling systems for plastics, and also development of recycling methods of plastics. Then textiles, new textile materials, the model for textiles recycling, and textile rental services. For packages, we have the same themes as for plastics, new packaging materials and recycling solutions for packaging. And then the fourth theme is building sector, and there the sub-themes are in long-term durability and second life of the materials, recycling and logistics of demolition materials, also wood construction, and different kinds of sharing premises. I will show you now some examples of below these four themes. First, textiles. At the moment, we have in Finland several companies that are already using side streams of textile production as raw material or post-consumer garments as raw material. I'm representing here two companies that are producing new kinds of raw materials for textile industry. There are two spin-offs in Finland, Spinnova and Infinited Fibre company, which have been launched by VTT, and they have developed new technologies for production of textile fibers. Metsä Group, the big one, is now building a production site in Äänekoski area in the middle of Finland for production of new type of textile fiber, together with the Japanese partner Itochu Trade House. But these two companies are already producing new textile fibers in Finland. Spinnova was established in 2014, and they are using Finnish market pulp or certified market pulp as raw material. They fibrillate it to microfibrillated cellulose and then produce textile fibers with a minimum amount of chemicals and very small amount of water in the process. They have a production site in Jyväskylä, and they can produce around some tens of tons of material annually, and they are upscaling the production in a few years' time to industrial scale. The second example of the new textile fibers is Infinited Fibre company. It is situated in Espoo. It was established in 2016. They are producing around 50 tons of material annually, and they use pre-consumer textile waste as raw material, or they can use dissolving pulp or agro-based side stream as raw material. They dissolve the material with a non-toxic process and regenerate the cellulosic fibers, take away the polyester components, and they can produce very nice fabric with nice haptic properties, and which can be dyed or colored with 40% less dye than virgin cotton. They are upscaling their production to 300 tons per year in Valkeakoski. They started the building already, and they will be ready in 2020 with a bigger production site. And the next examples are from packaging area. Also, the Finnish big companies have been active in development of plastic-free packaging, fiber-based packaging. Kotka Mills has developed a cardboard for drinking cups without plastic barrier, without microplastics if the material ends up in the ocean. and UPM have developed their bio-naphtha-based material to be used as a bio-based plastic barrier in different packaging applications. Huhtamäki has signed a deal with McDonald's of development and production of non-plastic containing straws. And Stora Enso has developed transportation packages for raw fish without styrofoam. Then a few examples of startup companies in this area. Paptic has developed fiber-based material to replace plastics, and their first application is plastic bag. It can be used also in any other flexible packaging application instead of plastic. The material is renewable, it is reusable, and it is recyclable in cardboard recycling system. Publix production site is today in Espoo. They are producing some 20 tons of material annually, and they have a partner abroad who is producing 2,000 tons of material already, and they are building the industrial scale production site during the next year, and the capacity will be around 30,000 tons annually after that. Public was established in 2015. And the next one is Sula Park. Sula Park was originally developed for packaging, first biodegradable bio-based packaging of cosmetics. It is very fast biodegrading. It can be composted, and if it ends up in the ocean, it don't form microplastics. It is sustainable. It can be recycled. And they have been awarded in several competitions around the globe. Sula Park was established in 2016, and they have widened the scope of their products during the last years. And the uniqueness of the material is in that it can be processed in existing equipment planned for processing plastic goods. And then the next one of packaging is Woodleigh. They are making transparent films for wood packaging, and the material is based on the use of cellulosic polymers. And the first application is packaging of salads and herbs grown in pots. And the first commercial products entered the market this year. And they are also planning to launch the rigid packaging based on the material this year for different applications. Then something about plastics recycling. Finns have been very active in recycling of beverage packaging already from 1950s, and the returning rate is today already 90%. And the big companies Neste and Fortum are active in using plastic waste instead of their fossil materials. Neste is started using liquefied plastic waste in 2019 this year, and Fortum refines industrial and retail plastics for reuse in their biorefinery mechanically. And Finland was also forerunner in plastics roadmap. We were the first country in the world who launched a roadmap for plastics recycling or plastics economy. And then still a few examples of construction industry. Betolar is not really a bioproduct or biomaterial, but they use a lot of different sludges and ashes coming from the biomaterial industry, like pulp and paper industry. And 90% of their material, which is used instead of cement in construction, is already reused. And then Lumir, they have a unique solution for acoustics, for biofiber-based acoustics, but I won't go into the detail at all with Lumir because Tuomas Hänninen is waiting for his turn to start after me. So these were the 4 areas, examples of the 4 areas covered by the Bio and Circular Economy program in Business Finland. But I still want to show one example of circular economy company or spin-off of VTT from 2016 in food area. In 2016, VTT spinned off a company called Solar Food. Solar Foods makes food out of thin air. It means that they capture carbon dioxide from the air, they add some nutrients and vitamins, water, use some renewable electricity, and with a bioprocess similar to fermentation of yeast or very simple bioprocess, they can produce single-cell protein, which can be used as a feed or as a feed for animals or as a food for humans. And today they can produce around 1 kilogram of protein per day, but by 2023 they are aiming to upscale the production to the scale of 1,000 kilograms per day. And this protein called solein has very small water footprint. Solein uses 100 times less water than plant production and 500 times less than the production of beef. And for land use, solein is 60 times more efficient than for plants, and 1,000 times more efficient than for beef production. And then CO2 emissions, solein pollutes 5 times less than plant production and 100 times less than beef production. So this was my last slide. Thank you for listening. And do you have any questions?
Thank you so much, Pia. I think your presentation made me get goosebumps because we have a lot of words around, a lot of expectations around circular economy, and suddenly we see them all gain flesh around the bones, become real. How about you? How excited? Are you excited?
Good.
Yes. If I looked at the tried to list all of the companies that you mentioned, it was Woodleigh, Spinnova, Sula Park, Baptic, Infinited Fibre Company, Betolar, and then Lumir. And what surprised me was actually that all of these companies are established very recently.
They have developed very quickly.
Very quickly. And I think it's something that makes me think that we have a very, very strong research base and research capability in this country. And you mentioned VTT many times.
Yes, my background is at VTT.
Yes, but
that's
also,
why. Yeah.
also to really praise this research and sort of business meeting each other in a way. Actually, Petri Alava, who is the CEO of Infinite Fibre Company, was my boss previously at Kekkilä.
Okay.
And this also knowing that there is a very strong business background makes me think that, okay, these companies are in good hands and they have all the potential to become much, much bigger and also globally very powerful. I'd like to ask you about how you see these companies or startups in this scene in general being able to sort of create inter-company relationships or networks. How do you feel? Can these businesses sort of utilize different capabilities across different fields in a way that leads in this kind of fast
development? I would say
development?
that we have very good networking between SMEs in Finland already. It was not maybe that 5 years ago, but it is developing all the time, and also networking or ecosystems between big companies and small companies are forming also nowadays.
Designers here, show how, put your hands up if you're really interested in approaching these kind of companies. Like, do they seem very sort of interesting as, yes. So I can imagine that these are sort of most desired companies to collaborate with. So I actually learned when visiting your website that the cellulose processing technologies could generate a value up to 3 billion in Finland's forestry, textile and mechanical engineering industries in entirely new business sectors. So this is all new and very important thus to Finland.